Adam, welcome to the Commerce Talks podcast, our last recording, day 2 at the Seamless conference here in Dubai, and another industry. We are talking about the pharmaceutical industry today, how to deliver medicine to your customers. Can you please introduce yourself a bit and then talk about your business?
So, hi, thanks for having me on. So, I'm Adam Docrat. I'm the head of IT for Aster Pharmacy and Aster Retail here in the Middle East. So we have around 250 pharmacy and optical stores here in the UAE, another 10 in Jordan, and we're busy with our expansion plans into Saudi Arabia as well.
So, can you tell us a bit about the market structure here? So, in Europe, it's pretty known that pharmacies are very close to to clinics, to doctors, and there's like a direct relation, and like a doctor would send like the patients to, okay, here's like the prescription, you can get your medicine in the first floor at pharmacy XYZ. How is it working here?
So I think in some ways it's very similar. So we have around half of our pharmacies are what we call clinic attached pharmacies, where we have the pharmacy directly below the clinic. So when the doctor prescribes medication, we have integration set up to actually allow the prescription to flow from the clinic directly into the pharmacy. Because I think different to Germany and the UK, the vast majority of people here are covered under insurance. So that means that predominantly
are not covered or
are covered.
Are covered.
So that means that whenever a prescription comes in, it has to go through to the insurance company for approval first before the medicines can be dispensed, and the customer makes a co-payment or whatever payment they have to make for this. So that's about half of our pharmacies, and the other half of our pharmacies are what we refer to as standalone pharmacies. And they're mostly focused on health and wellness as opposed to medicine. While they still have a large medicine component, we're generally focusing, and that's the sort of the direction that we're going in as a business, is moving towards a health and wellness journey and really changing the mindset of customers to move them from illness to wellness.
How does this work? So it's kind of a wellness center. I get like a spa treatment over there, and then I get some nutrition tips. And if I have a cold, I might buy some pharma products.
Yeah, so I think, every customer on their journey, would obviously get sick and would need medicine and pharmaceutical products. But what we're really doing at Aster specifically is we're looking at ways they can keep that active lifestyle and they can keep that healthy lifestyle. So whether that's through supplements, whether that's through awareness, and whether that's through just generally ingesting products that will just help you on your day-to-day life. So whether you're a man over the age of 40, for example, we've got products recommended, to keep you healthy, to avoid you from going into the doctors and the clinics on a regular basis. For women who are pregnant, for example, we have a range of supplements and products to support them on their wellness journey, ultimately to prevent them from going to clinics and hospitals, and to keep them healthy, at all times.
And what is the share between prescription medicine and over-the-counter medicine here in the region?
So most medicine is what we call is prescription medicine. Again, because everyone's insured. But around 20 to 30% of that medicine is controlled or semi-controlled medication, which means it can only be dispensed with a doctor's prescription. So your things like your antibiotics, your strong painkillers, anything which is deemed as an addictive substance, is generally considered a control medicine, where we're only allowed to give it with a doctor's prescription. And especially in Dubai, it's highly regulated because the doctor themselves actually doesn't give a paper or a handwritten prescription. They upload the prescription directly to the Dubai Health Authority portal, and we will download the prescription from the Health Authority portal. And that ensures that it's only given once to the customer.
Oh, okay. There's less scam potential in this.
There's a lot less scam potential, a lot less chance that customers become addicted to painkillers and so on.
How would you compare the quality of the healthcare system here versus like the NHS in UK or like the German healthcare system?
Yeah, so I think the UAE is predominantly a private sector health environment.
Yeah.
Again, everyone who lives and works in Dubai is covered under health insurance. So for us specifically, and Aster, whilst I work for the pharmacy division, Aster has clinics and hospitals as well. So we have about 56 clinics. We have a number of hospitals here in the UAE, as well as our partner brand called Medcare. And I think really the healthcare is superior in the sense that firstly, the quality of care you're getting is excellent because you're bringing in doctors, professionals and services from all around the world. You're able to deliver services that are in addition to the traditional services. So for example, we have a brand called Wealth, and Wealth is actually done in conjunction with Deepak Chopra. And we're looking at Ayurvedic practices and infrared practices and, really sort of next level medicine and alternative medicine treatment. But I was actually talking to a colleague of mine the other day, and one of the differences is the speed in which you're seen compared to like the NHS in the UK. I remember being young in the UK, breaking my wrist, and 13 hours later, I was out of the hospital with a cast on. And a colleague of mine's daughter had the same accident, and within 90 minutes, she was seen, x-rayed, and the cast had put on, and she was out.
And was he in Dubai?
Here in Dubai, yeah. Most of the time, people rarely even book appointments unless it's for a specific surgeon or a specific specialist. Because to see a GP, you can pretty much walk into any clinic in Dubai and be seen within 15 to 20 minutes.
Nice,
yeah,
nice, really good. And can you share a bit like also what's going on in the online part of your business? I guess like people try to buy like, I don't know, if they have a flu or something, they need like a certain spray. They start like searching online, or they go to Kareem and like ask somebody to buy something, or they go to Insta shops. So can you describe what's going on in the online world here for medical products?
Yeah. So in the online world, we're very omni-channel. So, whilst we have a large brick and mortar presence, we're recognizing and adopting as much as we can of the online presence. And for us, online isn't, I know you talked about the website and the app and the Kareem, but we like to take it even further than that. So from a services perspective, one of our mantras is to allow the customer to interact in the best way that he feels comfortable with. So whether that's in a pharmacy, whether that's via our call center. So we have a dedicated call center allowing customers to call and arrange home delivery of their products. We have WhatsApp. So you can WhatsApp us with your medicines. We have an app, which is a fully integrated app within all of our hospitals and clinics. We have the website, and obviously we have tie-ups with all the different aggregators. So we're really trying to touch the customer at every point wherever they feel comfortable.
And what is the online share then of your business? My understanding is, so as you described, like the retail brick and mortar experience, it must be like still 95% whatever.
Yeah. So I think we're still seeing quite a large presence from the offline. So the offline still, like you said, consumes around 95% of our total revenue, but it's growing. And we're seeing that number move towards online, pretty much on a daily basis as customers are now starting to adopt. I think the biggest problem is that because customers still, a large portion of our business, 70% of our business is still medicines. Right. And predominantly, like I said earlier, medicines are covered by insurance only when they are accompanied by a prescription from a doctor. So because of that, they happen after a clinic visit. And, if you're visiting a clinic, you're more than likely to just walk downstairs and pick up the medicine while you're there rather than going on an app or waiting for a home delivery to happen.
Got it. But here in Dubai, I experience a super crazy level of convenience services. So I even assume that like in Kareem, I could order a doctor to my home for whatever, because I don't want to go to a doctor because I feel ill. I don't want to get in a car, whatever, and he would come home. So is there similar things already happening here?
Yeah, so we have a number of things. We have 800 Aster, which is our Aster Doctor at Home, which the doctor will come out to your home for emergency services or even to take blood tests. So I recently did a full blood test with Aster, and the nurse came to my house to withdraw all the blood, so I didn't have to go into the clinic. We have video consultation services available through our My Aster platform. We have teleconsultation over the phone, so Medcare, who's our sister brand, they're offering telephone teleconsultations as well. And it's seamlessly integrated. So you'll have the teleconsultation, the prescription will flow to the pharmacy will process the insurance and arrange for the home delivery, all done throughout the app or throughout the telephone conversation.
And is this growing, this part of the business? Because it seems rather new, right? Like 10 years ago, there was no telephone, WhatsApp conversation. So how many people are working in this new areas?
So I think it's growing on a daily basis. So we launched about 9 months ago, with a real enterprise level platform. And it's definitely growing, and we're driving a lot, and we're putting a lot of money and time behind actually driving that side of the business. I still think it's going to take time for consumers to adopt to it. I still think there's a natural, want of a lot of people to sort of want to go to the doctor. Obviously, what we always find in any society is that the older generation are always the one who need to visit the doctor on a more regular basis. And the older generation obviously are the less tech savvy. So you're over 50s. But it's changing. And I think the younger generation are slowly adopting more. Insurance companies are adopting more to teleconsultation visits as well, because they're realizing the quickness and easiness. Plus, it's allowing customers where customers previously wouldn't even come to us. So a lot of times chronic customers would take a long time to be able to come to us because they wouldn't have the time to visit a doctor, take time to travel, wait in the clinic. I think now, as they're getting more and more aware of the services, they're able to fit a video consult or a teleconsult into their daily lives, and they're able to do it on demand whenever they're available, whether it's 8-9 o'clock at night or whether it's first thing in the morning before they go to work.
I had once, in the German-speaking podcast, I'd once the CEO of Asklepios, like a big clinic in Germany, as a guest, and he said, obviously from a clinic perspective, and I understand Aster is also running clinics, there is no really a marketing competence around. Obviously, so if there's like an emergency, people will be brought like to the closest clinic. You cannot do like, you can do marketing about like selective operations, because you're the best like in replacing hips or joints or whatever. But this has really much to do with the insurance setup in Germany, how clinics are getting paid. Is marketing actually a discipline here in the medical world? Do you have clinics like a marketing department? Had Aster a marketing department? Because you explained that most of the customers are coming anyway because they just visit the doctor. There's no need for marketing.
Yeah. So we have a huge marketing team, and I think marketing runs on two sides. And I think clinics themselves, from a marketing perspective, there's so much choice here in the UAE. There are so many clinics, there are so many pharmacies. So whilst the need from the customer is there, how do you get them into your premises over somewhere else? As you said, convenience is really important for customers. So they want to be able to visit you. They want to be able to interact with you as easy and simply as possible. So we do have marketing teams who market to drive customers and acquire them. But we also want to market the other services we have available. So a customer might be coming in for one specific need, but might not be aware of, all of the different services that we have to offer. They might not know that we have dental, for example. They might not know we have optical. So that's where the marketing team, really comes in.
But how does it work marketing wise? Do you like do out of home media, doing advertisement, sozusagen, whenever you feel ill, Aster is your choice? Okay, that's not good marketing idea, but like whatever.
Yeah. So no, look, we advertise, from a pharmacy side, obviously we advertise a lot online. We promote our products and in the newspapers. A lot of our population is from the Asian subcontinent. So a lot of the people who visit Aster, because we're an Indian company, tend to also be from the Asian subcontinent as well. So for them, radio actually is proven to be our biggest way of communicating with all of them.
Radio, like UKW radio, like you can put in a car?
Yeah, like you can put in the car. Yeah. So we run radio adverts. So you'd be very surprised in this region. There's a lot of people who regularly listen to the breakfast radio station every single morning. They listen to radio on a regular basis. I'm not one of them. I listen to podcasts in the car normally, but you have a lot of people who, really enjoy sitting every morning, listening to guys like Chris Fade on the radio, listening to the breakfast show, the Sharjah show. And through that is where we do a lot of our advertisements to customers.
Radio, I'm surprised because usually radio, if it's like sent via like the standard radio frequencies, you only have like national radio. But you have so many different like nationalities here in Dubai. I have a hard time to imagine that there might be like one or two like radio stations that are like super popular. But that's what you're describing. Or do they listen to local radio stations from India or UK, but via the internet?
No, it's actually radio stations locally here in the UAE. So there's actually quite a few local radio stations. There's some which are sort of like Virgin Radio, for example, is a huge radio station here in Dubai. And if you ask anyone in Dubai who Chris Fade is, I think everyone in Dubai will know who he is. And, in all seriousness, there's a lot locally. People enjoy listening to them. It's very local content. So a lot of the news, a lot of the stuff they're talking about, a lot of the guests they have on there are from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and the region, and are promoting services and offerings that are available here in the region and is applicable to them.
Nice. Tell us more about like your e-commerce infrastructure and like strategy. So is it more built around the brick and mortar assets about the real estate store? So you're picking from store, or it's like, do you already have like a central warehouse where you send medicine from?
Yeah. So so we have two sides to the online space. The RX side, which is the prescription side where customers would upload their prescription, is generally handled and pushed directly to the relevant pharmacy to deliver, because we're bound by medical requirements, and the medical, authorities to only dispense medicines out of specific pharmacies which are close to the customer.
And you're not allowed to, that's like a big discussion in Europe and in Germany especially, you're not allowed to bring RX or prescription pharmacy to the customer directly, like at home?
No, they have to come. So any controlled medicine. So chronic medicine we can, prescription medicine we can, but anything controlled, so anything which is an addictive substance, and there's certain medicines we're not allowed to deliver directly to customers. And the reason why is that we want to ensure that we're seeing the customer directly, and we're checking the customer's Emirates ID or passport to make sure that medicine is handed over to the right person. But however, the biggest bulk of our online space is around the over-the-counter drugs. So your Panadols, your paracetamols, your flu medicine, and around the whole health and wellness supplements. So hair care, beauty care, skin care, sports nutrition. That's predominantly where customers are interacting with us. Now, historically, Aster's always had an online space where we deliver after 1 to 2 business days from a central warehouse. And we realized that nowadays that doesn't work here in the region. Customers want convenience and customers want products as soon as possible. So around 9 months ago, we launched our new app called My Aster. And My Aster's has got a direct link to our pharmacies. And what it's allowed us to do is allowed us to showcase to customers the stock that's available at pharmacies which are near them, and allow them, once they purchase the goods, for us to send a rider to the pharmacy, pick the product, and send it directly to the customer, all within 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. So for a customer, that's a huge thing for them. And in addition to that, we've also been able to integrate with the hospitals and the clinics on the same app. So we're offering teleconsultation, lab reports, physical bookings, as well as our online store, all within the same My Aster app.
Is there like a central health file here for people in the UAE? You can access and see, okay, that's your health history. That's when you visited the clinic last. That's when you visited a doctor last. This is your latest radio scans from whatever.
So if you're within the Aster network, yes, we have records for patients which are now going to be available on the My Aster app, where you can see your whole medical history.
But that's not a government file.
No,
it's an Aster file.
No, it's an Aster file. Yeah, we don't have access to the government files. But
would another clinic, let's say the patient is now, for whatever reason, needs to go to a different clinic, would this clinic have somehow access to this file?
No, unfortunately not. We don't have integrations with other clinics, and we don't share data between clinics. But saying that, that's definitely something that's on the roadmap for the DHA and MOH to create a centralized, unified health record on the blockchain, across the UAE. So no matter where you go, doctors will be able to see your full medical history, as opposed to at the moment where it's completely isolated and completely siloed.
Okay, understand. So there's like a real marketing team. With all the other guests, I have discussed also loyalty possibilities. Is there a loyalty view from a clinic or pharmacy perspective? Does it make sense to have like you're telling me about the My Aster app?
Yes.
But do you run like push notifications, get your, I don't know, flu medicine now before it's sold out, or newsletters about like the newest COVID vaccines, whatever, stuff like this?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And it was actually the topic of my talk here at Seamless today was around loyalty. So we have a great loyalty engine, which is called Aster Secure. And what it does at the moment, it allows every dirham you spend in the pharmacy to be converted into points. And then those points can be used against future transactions that you do. And we use that to, like you said, push promotions, newsletters, awareness, and targeted ads based on the purchases and the items you've bought. And now what we're doing as a phase 2, we're extending that out to the rest of our network. So we're extending that out to our clinics and our hospitals. So you're able to accumulate points across the whole of the Aster network, right? And then use them wherever you want to. So you might want to accumulate points in the pharmacy and use them for a blood test in the clinic, right? Because whilst everyone is still insured, their level of insurance differs from person to person. So one person might not have dental coverage, for example. So, teeth cleaning, a root canal might not be covered, right? Or opticals might not be covered for a particular person. So those services, they'd still have to pay cash for. They wouldn't be able to do it under insurance. But by using the Aster network, they'd be able to accumulate points, whether they transacted online, whether they transacted in store or in the clinic or in the hospital, and have a unified wallet for them to be able to spend anywhere across the network.
So loyalty makes sense. But do you see that when you increase your loyalty investments, that the churn rate drops, that people are less likely to go in a different clinic?
I don't think.
Is there any vouchers, coupon codes, break your leg today, get the 50% discount?
No, so we don't do the voucher codes. What we do is we do very specific promotions in the store, which drives loyalty. So, you go to a store and you might have, and it's very similar to Tesco's in the UK, where you'll have one price for a product. But if you're a loyalty member, you have a different price for a product, or you have a different offer for products, right? And it's free to join the loyalty program. So it encourages customers to join the loyalty program. So that helps us drive demand onto the program. And then it allows stickiness to the actual, to our brand. Because in all seriousness, if you're buying flu medicine or Panadol or sports nutrition, these are products you can get anywhere. And especially medicine here in the UAE is regulated pricing. So the price you'll pay at Aster is the same price you'll pay at Supercare, Benzina, Tumbe. No matter where you go, you'll pay the same price because it's all government regulated. So how we differentiate customers and how we get them to come back to us is we can't just offer them a discount, but we can reward them for those purchases that they're making.
Okay. What's the next big thing you're working on? Because from many retailers we have spoken with, they are on a very, very bumpy ride, or at least a very intense ride, moving their business from the offline world in the online world. And it's just a question when it happens and not if it happens. Your business has like a very strong foundations in the offline world. And whenever you need like your leg repaired, you need to go to the clinic. So it's never been done, maybe by robots like in 100 years, but this question needs to be discussed like in 100 years then. So, is there like do you feel that you're working on a real transformation of the organization, or is it just like upgrades of the existing setups?
No, I think we're on a real digital transformation journey across Aster. So, and this has been going on for the last 3-4 years. So this isn't something new. This is something that we're actively working on. So, we're working on things like revenue augmentation, which is how we look at what patients are doing in certain hospitals and clinics and upselling them services. We're looking at things where you're doing in the pharmacy. So, for example, if you're buying a certain set of products, for us to recommend you a second set of products. But what the really big and cool things that we're doing is now we're sort of bringing that network together. So we're saying that, okay, a diabetic patient who's a diabetic and who's diagnosed in a clinic, let's complement them with products to support them on that diabetic journey and promote the pharmacy. Similarly, a customer who's coming to a pharmacy and buying baby milk powder and baby formula, let's provide them with offers and services around childcare services, health checkups for children, vaccinations that are needed for children, because we know they're going to be interested in that. So, cross business collaboration and cross business promotion, I think is a real big thing. And it all goes down to using data and AI, right? And I know that AI is the overused word of the month, where everyone is talking about AI and chat GPT and everything. But so for us, less AI, more machine learning, but really taking that data, bringing it into a data lake, which is something that we're building at the moment, unifying the patient into a unified patient ID, and then promoting them services and products that are really suited to what they are interested in.
Mm. Okay, then maybe it's the last part of the podcast. Let's go back to your initial statement where you said, okay, you have some of the pharmacies are located with clinics, so fairly traditional, like pharmaceutical business. The standalone pharmacies you're kind of rebuilding into, I don't know, it's not a wellness center, but it's like add-on, helping people to eat better, to make sports better, to prevent becoming ill. Can you elaborate a bit on this strategy? So how far can it go? Because it's not going to be like a fitness center, like in 5 years.
No, it's not going to be like a fitness center. And I think historically, one of the problems we've always had is that Aster is very much seen as a medical company. So we're always seen as a medical company. You go there for your medicines. You don't know you go there for your health and wellness products. So question is, how can we entice the customers? So there's a couple of things that we're doing. The first thing that we're doing is that we're upgrading a lot of our stores from a look and a feel perspective, putting more prominence on beauty care, skin care, having derma centers in stores, having promoters in stores to advise customers on what the best treatment is for your hair care, your skin care, or your beauty. So that's the first thing. And again, ultimately helping them with that wellness side of it. The second thing we're doing is that we've recognized that maybe Aster as a brand, doesn't sort of it screams medical because Aster is a very medical company. So we've entered in a partnership, and luckily I can talk about this now, because we're about to launch in a few weeks' time, is that we've entered into a JV with Spinneys, and we're launching a new pharmacy concept called Zest Pharmacy. And this is going to be really an upper class level pharmacy, health and wellness experience, completely different name to Aster. But it's going to be present as a shopping shop or a standalone shop alongside all the Spinny stores in the UAE and Oman. So
how many Spinny stores are there?
I think there's around 50 or 60 Spinny stores.
Most likely located in a mall.
More likely actually located in community centers.
Oh.
So they're malls, but they're like mini malls almost. So predominantly we're going to be going into there with them. Opening our first one in Abu Dhabi in a few weeks' time. And we've just launched our Instagram pages and everything to announce it, which is really cool. But very new concept, stunning finishes, health advisors to advise you on what are the correct products you need to take.
If I remember correctly from your initial statement, you also said you're moving now also in KSA as an expansion strategy. As we have many listeners that are not so familiar with the region and the momentum of the region, from a pharmacy perspective. So what kind of potential are you seeing there? Because I believe there must be pharmacies in KSA already, but what do you see there, like from a business potential? Why moving now? What's in it for you?
So I think, everyone talks about, KSA is the next, Saudi Arabia is the next big market because it's huge, right? And it has unlike the UAE, it has a more diverse range of people sectors. So you have your very low income right the way up to your high income and everything in between. So it's very much across the board an equal split of people. And I think for us, Saudi's a really big market. I mean, geographically and physically, it's a very big market. It's dominated currently by two players, Al Nahdi and Al Dawa, who've got thousands of pharmacies between them. But I think now the two things. Now the time is right with Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, the ability for foreigners to come in and open businesses that are owned in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, that wasn't the case a couple of years ago. So you just can start it now.
Exactly, yeah. So that wasn't the case a few years ago. And also, because KSA is a very different market, and whilst we're pharmacy experts and we know how to run pharmacies, one of the things is that we wanted to make sure we partnered with the right partner. So we partnered with the Al Hokair Group in Saudi Arabia as a JV with them. So they're going to be supporting us and working with us on our expansion plans into Saudi Arabia. And we've got big plans, to really ramp up the business over the course of the next few years.
Nice. So you're going to be at the Seamless conference in Riyadh?
I should be, yes. I'm planning to be there to.
Yeah, definitely want to have an update, and we obviously have a dinner with former and future Commerce Talks.
Yes, definitely.
I guess. Really cool. Thank you for your time. Very interesting. Huge difference to the European market. It's even better to be ill here in Dubai. That's like a takeaway. Service quality must be much better. And looking forward to your future journey.
Thank you so much.